YouTubers, today on Ben's SUV, we will be changing the rear differential fluid on my 2002 ML320. And just to give you some insight, this truck actually takes three different types of transmission fluid. So this red one that I'm pointing at is the ATF that's going to be used for the transfer case. This Penston that says 134 is going to be used for the actual transmission, not the transfer case. And even though the other one says ATF, it's not for transmission. This here is the gear oil that we will be using for the rear and front differential. Right now I'll be doing the rear and I'll do the front in another video. This is Mobil 1 Synthetic 75W-90. I believe Mercedes calls for 75W-80 or 85, but it's difficult to find unless you pay the Mercedes price. But it's okay to use the 75-90. Again, I'm using for front and rear. I will also be using this pump. Got it off of Amazon, Lubrimatic, whatever. There's different kinds, and it fits nicely on the cap. Actually, on the opening of the gear oil, 1 liter, 1 liter, 1 quart. I think it's a 1 quart container. I forgot what it is, but I believe it's 1 quart. And the tools I'll be using is you will require a torque wrench to torque it down to what do I have here? 25 foot-pounds. You don't want to over tighten it, and we'll be using a 10 millimeter hex Allen socket to open it. Actually, for the rear, as I will show, where the this is me underneath. You don't have to jack up the car. You could just go underneath it, crawl underneath it. What I'm pointing at is the bottom drain plug, and right behind it, right against the cross member. If you were, I would be sticking my finger, that is where the fill plug is. You want to make sure you can open up the fill plug first before you can drain, because you don't want to be in a situation where you drain the oil and not be able to fill it. Then you won't be able to drive the vehicle. Well, you can drive it, but you'll ruin your differential. So it is a 10 millimeter hex key, and because the cross member is in the way, the socket and the ratchet didn't work. So I have to get a 10 millimeter hex key, and I'll show you that. So here's the drain, and what we're going to do is I'm going to loosen it first. This is the hex key I'm talking about. I had to go to Harbor Freight and get this one, and you will require some kind of a breaker bar, as I'm just going to use the piece of metal, hollow metal, to slide the hex key onto it like so and remove it. Again, it is difficult to use a socket because you'll be hitting against the cross member. I already loosened up my my fill hole, right? My fill drain plug. I'm sorry, my fill plug. So right now, what I'm going to do is loosen up my my drain plug. I apologize. This is sideways because I am lying down sideways underneath the truck. Um, so it's, you know what, for this I could use the ratchet, but I just didn't because I had my hex key down there. So basically just loosen it a few times. There's a washer on here. You want to make sure you get the washer along with the drain bolt. So it's a black washer. So you want to make sure that the washer is on there. I'm also going to be cleaning both drain plugs and the washers with brake clean. Actually, don't do that. Do not clean the rubber washer with brake clean. After I clean that, I read the instructions on brake clean. It says do not use it on rubber. So do not spray the gasket with brake clean. But I sprayed the aluminum bolt with brake clean and cleaned it. So this is what the drain plug looks like, or the drain bolt looks like. And the oil that comes out smells, okay, and it stinks very badly, and it's dark compared to what's going in. So basically, I'm just showing that when you do when you remove the top bolt, part of it you'll be using the hex key, and the other part of it you will have to remove the fill bolt or the fill plug with your fingers, because there's not enough room for you to do it with the hex key, because it'll be hitting against the cross member. For some reason, my fill plug had this black stuff on it, and I just wiped it off with a cloth. But I'm going to be using brake clean anyway. So I removed the washers from the bolts. I cleaned it with brake cream, and also before I put it back, I'm going to put the oil. I'll show that. So basically, this is 1 quart, and what I took out is dark, and it actually feels heavier than the 1 quart of oil that's going to go in. So I have a feeling that I took out more than 1 quart. I don't know how much, but I knew that going in because in the manual it says that it is more than 1 quart. I forgot what the amount was, but by weighing it, I am going to be taking out more than that. But I want to keep track of how much I put in. So what I'm going to do is I am going to empty this out using the pump, and then I'm going to open up a new one and take it out of that one, and then I'll be able to see how much. I'm going to put this back in because I'll have some left over, and I'll be able to see how much I took out all in all. So this is the pump that I got off of Amazon. You have to put the bottom pipe in that goes inside the container, and the only drawback with this particular pump is that when you put it into the quart, it doesn't go all the way. The pipe does not go and reach the bottom. So you won't be able to pump all of it out of the container. And that's why I had to open up a second one. And then whatever is left over, the first one, I'll put it inside the second one. And this way I was able to tell how much I used up. So anyway, I just screwed this on, tightened it up, and make sure you don't get the hose dirty, right? Make sure it's clean since it's going inside. Well, first I tried to go in over that bar, then I realized it's not a good idea. So now I went in underneath that bar. Again, you want to make sure that you keep that pipe clean and you don't get any foreign stuff inside it, any other dirt inside it. So here I am pumping. Look at the oil that's here that's going in. See how clean it is, how clear it is? It's like white wine, right? Compared to what came out, which was uh, brown. I wouldn't say it was black, but it was like dark brown. Um, so this is after 130,000 miles. Perhaps going forward, I will do this every 60,000 miles instead of 130,000 miles, both front and back. Again, it's a no-brainer. It's just a spill and fill, but you have to get the oil and use a pump to pump it in, and obviously get underneath the truck. I did not, as I mentioned earlier, I did not raise the truck. I just crawled straight underneath it to do it. And I'm just pumping away faster here to get all the oil in. And what's going to happen is it's going to start spilling, right? So you're going to pump all the oil in until it spills. So now I took the leftover of the first one and put it into the second one, and I've used up about 12 ounces from the second one. So I've used up a quart and 12 ounces. So that is about 1 3/8 of a quart, which I believe is correct because I believe in the manual it says 1.33 quarts. So 3/8 is about 3 quarts, I guess. Anyway, now I am putting the fill plug. I'm tightening up the fill plug. I apologize for not showing me tightening up the drain plug. I thought I recorded it, but I somehow missed the recording of it. But basically, there's the drain plug. It's put back on, and it's torqued to 25 foot-pounds. Now I'm screwing in the fill plug, again using the hex key. A little bit difficult to get the hex key on there, but you want to tighten it as much with your hand. Obviously, I can't get a torque wrench into the fill plug. So I just tighten it up as much as I can. There's not enough room to get a socket there earlier, as mentioned earlier. So I just tighten it with my hand first, and then I tighten with the hex key as much as I can go. I did not force it. Anyway, it's the full plug. So this is a pretty easy thing to do, and obviously clean up any oil that's underneath it. So please like the video. If you don't like, please let me know why you don't like the video. Please subscribe. I need to get my subscription up. So thanks for watching, and again, leave any comments or questions below.